Hi everyone, welcome back to Descode, and this is going to be our third video. In the previous two videos, we have explored what is the basic UI of After Effects and where do we get all those controls. And in the last video, we have covered how to calculate the position and other coordinates in the After Effects viewing panel. So now, today in this video, we are going to learn about what are the keyframes and how we can actually animate an object. So basically, in today's video, we are going to animate our object for the first time, and keeping in mind that this is a series from the very beginner to advanced level. So I'm going to start with very basics. So if you know all this, you can skip to some other video, but those who all are very new to After Effects, you can stick around, and this is going to be a very beneficial video for you guys. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. So we have our frame and we have our object. Our objective is to animate this object along this frame. Okay, so how do we animate it? In terms of animation, what I refer over here is we are basically trying to move this with time. So when I say with time, I have to focus on this timeline. I mean, here we have 1 second. If we have 1 second, then what I'm looking for is how we are going to change any property of this object with respect to time. So for that, we need to create a keyframe. And how do we create that? If you go to all these controls, anchor point, position, scale, rotation, opacity, you can see there's a stopwatch. And this stopwatch, whenever you click on it, you just have to left click once, and here you can see there's a dot. And in the timeline also, you can see there is a dot. So this is a keyframe. So the instruction that I am giving to After Effects is consider this position as the first position. And now what I want is I want to go to 5 frames. And in 5 frames, let's say I change the anchor point value to this. So now we can clearly see that previously the box was here, now the box is here. So what if I play it? So you can see that when I am going with the time, I can see the box is moving. Okay. So this is the animation for anchor point. Now let's say how do we create the animation for position? Same, we left click on the stopwatch, and then let's say this time we go to 10 frames, and now we move it. So here you can see the box is moving. Nice. Now let's focus on some other property. This is scale, and how do we scale it? Now first thing is, if you have watched my previous two videos, you need to tell me in terms of scale, when I'm going to increase the scale, how the box is going to get bigger. So I would give you a moment, pause the video and go type it in the comment section. All done? Let's go ahead. So in the same 10 frames, I'm going to increase it, and as the anchor point is at the top left, it's going to increase from the top left. So it's gonna get increased like in the direction of bottom right. Okay. See. So now we can see that it's not only in like moving along the path. Now it's increasing in scale as well. Right. Now let's say I need a rotation in that. So same, I clicked on the stopwatch, created a keyframe. Now after 10 frames, I am going to create another keyframe where I am giving it a rotation of, let's say, 90 degrees. So now what we can see is this box is rotating for 90 degrees. Okay, cool. Now what happens in opacity? Let's say we make it 50%. That I have done in 5 frame. Let's do it in 10 frame. In 50% you can see that the transparency has reduced. If I make it 0, it will vanish. So now it has vanished. Let's make it 100 only so that we can clearly see our object, and let's make it in 20 frames. So now in 20 frames we can see that this object is clearly rotating, increasing in size, that the scale is changing, and it's also moving. The position of the box is changing. Okay, so here we can see we have done position animation, we have done scale animation, we have done rotation, and I have shown that we have done opacity animation as well. Clear? It's a basic animation. Let's say we initially keep the opacity as 0 and now we keep it as 100. So what happens is, see, it's like the box appears. Now you can write something on it. Isn't this cool? Cool, right? So yeah, apart from that, we have few things, that is, we can select all these keyframes and then right click on any one of them. You cannot right click on this space, you have to right click on the keyframe. So you get all those options. Here what you can do is, like, you can go with keyframe interpolation and you can make it Bezier. What happens is, it makes the animation a bit more smooth. If you click on one of these and go to keyframe assistant, you get all these options. Easy ease in, easy ease in, easy ease out. Okay. Now let's keep this keyframes on 10 frames, and now let's do like keyframe assistant, easy is in. Okay. Now you can see that the animation has changed. How it has changed? See, you can see it's in a hurry. In terms of changing the position, it's in hurry. Let's change the keyframe interpolation to easy is out. Something similar happening. Let's make it easy. Okay. Let's click on all those. Keyframe assistant, easy ease. See? Now the animation has become a bit smoother. Okay, I have copied and pasted all those keyframes, and let's make those. What do we have to do? Keyframe interpolation, linear. Now you can see this is how the animation is being done the first time. Okay, and then let's just change the keyframe time, reverse it. Okay, see, but if you look closely, this is a bit more smoother. That's why we are doing easy ease. And how do we understand that this is a bit smoother? We go to the graph editor and we check any property. You see that this graph is showing a very strict and sharp edge, which denotes the change in position is happening Actually, this is a constant way. Okay, then we can change these values. How do we change these values? We have to select this, and then we click and drag these buttons. We can actually change the intensity of the animation. See, now it goes like zoop. Previously it was not like that. If I play that, see, it was much slower. Now the pace has increased. Okay, so this was the graph editor. I would explain a lot more about the graph editor in the next video. Until then, I hope you have now got an idea of how we need to animate all those properties, and you can create your own keyframes, do your own animation. In the next video, we are going to learn a bit more about the graph editor, the value graph, speed graph and all. And then after that, we will be start doing our animation, and there will be like 3-4 assignments on how we are going to do specific movement and rotation animation. Okay, so until then, I am signing off. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.